Tonight, it's the first regular season meeting between the Braves and the Marlins. These National League East rivals have played some great games and have had some fantastic finishes. But tonight, there's another subplot. Fredi Gonzalez and Dan Uggla facing off against the team that gave them their shot. Fredi Gonzalez got his first managerial chance with the Marlins and in 4 years left as Florida's all-time winningest manager with 276 career victories. Dan Uggla was the face of the Marlins in his 5 years in Florida. He made 2 All-Star appearances and is the all-time franchise leader in home runs. But the past is over, and now they're Atlanta Braves. Time to create their own legacy in Braves uniforms. It's reunion week in Major League Baseball, and the epicenter is Turner Field in Atlanta. Old faces in new places as they meet for the first time here in 2011. Former Braves and former Marlins match up in Game 1 of the head-to-head series this season, and all the fun starts tonight here at Turner Field with the Florida Marlins visiting the Atlanta Braves. And good evening, everybody, with my partner Joe Simpson, Jim Carey back at the ballpark. It's got to be a lot of fun for those guys in uniform to finally face their former teammates.
They could downplay it all they want about how it's just another game or another series, but they've been looking forward to this. You know they have, and it is exciting to play your old ball club. For Dan Uggla, as you just pointed out, Chip, Florida's all-time leading home run hitter, 465 RBIs in that tenure with the Marlins. Fredi Gonzalez, their winningest manager ever. Braves are very thankful that they had the opportunity to hire him to replace Bobby Cox. But it is special, and if you hear Dan Uggla tell it, very special to face your old teammates.
Definitely been looking forward to this moment, pretty much since I got traded. I'm looking forward to competing against these guys and seeing them and hanging out with them and, just kind of catching up. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
A lot of fun and competing, yes, but how about beating your former team?
Well, it's going to be a task for the Atlanta Braves because they're going to run into 3 more tough pitchers in this series.
And the Florida Marlins off to a 5-4 start. They've got a bevy of those. The Braves pitching has been good as well, but it's no surprise as to why the Braves are struggling to a 4-6 start. A lot of tough arms have faced them in the season's first week and a half, and we'll explore that with you when we come right back in a moment. column tonight, we get our first look at the Florida Marlins here at Turner Field. Chip and Joe with you. And partner, I seem to remember just a few short weeks ago on our spring training preview show, you mentioned how difficult this first home stretch for Freddie and the Bravos was going to be. It has been.
It has been, and it's going to continue that way right through the end of April. The Braves started the season in Washington, and they ran into some good pitching there, but they won 2 out of 3. Hernandez and Lannon both pitched well. Lannon got the win. Then those 3 guys in Milwaukee that were lights out. Phillies have their 4 starting pitchers that are awesome, and they missed Halladay and did beat Cliff Lee, but lost to the last 2 guys. Now the Marlins come to town, and they see a hard-throwing guy tonight, and then they got Josh Johnson and Ricky Nolasco. The last 2 games of the series, they're probably going to see Chris Young and Mike Pelfrey with the Mets. Then they go on the road out west for 10 days, and they're probably going to see Clayton Kershaw with the Dodgers. They're going to see those aces like Lincecum and Kane and Sanchez for the Giants. They're probably going to see Matt Latos from the Padres, who just came off the disabled list. This is tough sledding if you're a hitter, and I've heard a lot of talk about how the Braves are not swinging the bat, they're not scoring runs. Well, part of it is they're running into some tough pitching here in the early going.
And they've got a tough customer tonight, and Chris Volstad, the big right-hander, is taking the ball for the Florida Marlins. Let's see if Atlanta can jump on him early and often here at home at Turner Field. Glad you're with us for the opener of this 3-game series. We'll take a look at our starting lineups and our first pitch when we come right back. A 5-4 record, and speaking of those familiar faces, Omar Infante will be the Florida second baseman. He hits second in Edwin Rodriguez's lineup. Omar and this Marlin offense off to a relatively good start here in 2011.
Yeah, they're swinging the bats pretty good, and that's why Tommy Hansen's going to have to get back to the right form. He's 0-2 with a 6 ERA to start the season, has not pitched well. 3 walks, only 3 strikeouts in 9 innings. That's a very low strikeout total for him, but he's been pitching behind in the count a lot. He needs to be more aggressive tonight, and his 4 keys to pitching success, very much like what they were when we talked about him in Milwaukee. Have better command, hit your spots, and trust your stuff. Again, get after it.
Tommy 3-1 lifetime against the Marlins in 6 starts. Has had good pitching luck in his career at Turner Field. Let's see if a little home cooking turns around his fortunes in his 3rd start of the year. Chris Coughlin leads it off. Umpiring crew tonight features Mike Everett behind the plate.
Coghlan was Rookie of the Year 2 years ago. Fell off last year, battled some injuries. In fact, he hardly played at all in the second half, and he's off to a slow start here in 2011.
He's kind of turned out to be their version of Martin Prado. They've moved him all over the diamond defensively.
That's a good description, and they may have found a home in center field. The scouts are raving about his work in center.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Comfortable night here in Atlanta. Breezy, 66 degrees. Winds blowing out toward the right field corner.
Yeah, I think that 14 miles an hour is very conservative too, because the flag at the top of the scoreboard is starched straight out.
Tommy went after Coghlan and struck him out. Good way to start the game. Florida's leadoff man's retired.
And he's got such good stuff. Fastball in the low to mid 90s. He's got a good slider, an excellent slider, and curveball. That looked like a bit of a cutter there that was up, but threw it right by him. And a good hand for Omar Infante.
And well deserved after an all-star season with the Braves last year. Gets a chance to play every day now in Florida. As we told you, he's their second baseman.
This guy's had some big hits for the Braves over the last 2 or 3 years, hasn't he?
Oh, man. Remember all the hue and cry about how in the world can Omar Infante make the All-Star team? Well, those numbers indicative of why.
And he did something with those numbers that every team hopes happens with a utility type player, that he comes off the bench and puts up good marks and replacing whoever got hurt. And he played so well that he was an integral part in the trade that brought Dan Uggla to the Braves. So if you have a utility player who does that, proves himself, then you have some value that you could go out and use somewhere else if you need to make a deal, and that's what happened. Spring, and to hear him talk about him around the Marlins team is that they just kind of leave him alone. He's at second base. They don't have to tell him anything. He knows how to play. He's professional. He's a good hitter. They haven't had one worry since plugging him in at second base and batting second in the order.
Push that into the seats, foul, and Infante stays alive. A ball, 2 strikes.
Good pitch, and one of the best velocity pitches with velocity he's had this season so far. That was 94, and he hit a good spot down and away, and Infante spoiled it. That's Tommy Hanson-like.
Chipper at third. Close play and just in time.
Took Chipper an extra step to get his feet squared up so he could put something on this throw, and a good thing he made a strong throw or Infante would have beaten it out. Just got him by a half step.
Always good to see the bases empty when Hanley Ramirez comes up. Getting just 207 for the season. But boy, did the Marlins get a scare in their last series with the Astros, and Hanley Ramirez on a hard slide.
He got taken out at second base and then had to be helped off the field. Bill Hall that took him out, and there was a crack of shins here, mostly the knee of Hall that went into the shin of Hanley Ramirez. He is all right. He missed a couple of games, but he's okay to play tonight.
This is why when you face Ramirez, you want the bases empty, for he hit the Georgia lottery jackpot against Braves pitching.
Yeah, they couldn't get him out last year. 4 homers, 11 RBIs, and 18 games.
Good start for Hansen. He's been ahead of all 3 Marlins hitters here in the first inning of tonight's game.
Just missed with that one.
Full count. .28 doubles, a .300 average, 21 homers for Ramirez last season. Lifetime .313 hitter. And he just took a called third strike.
95 on that one.
Couple of strikeouts for Tommy Hansen. He's off to a good start. Braves up for their first at bat here in the first inning. Inning, he struck out 2 of the first 3 Marlins he faced. Now the Braves bats will try to give him a lead against right-hander Chris Volstad. Dan Uggla, the former Marlin, still looking for his first Turner Field hit as a member of the Braves. This would be a perfect opportunity for the right-handed bats to get going for the Braves tonight.
They'll do it against a big, tall, lanky guy, 6'8", 195 pounds, 24 years old, Chris Volstad. Throws a heavy sinker, has a changeup, and he's working on a slider to go with that. His 4 keys to success tonight. That new slider, try to make good pitches with it because the Braves haven't seen it. And challenge the hitters. He pitches to contact. Doesn't expect to strike out a lot of guys.
Just broke Prado's bat. Martinez the first out. Here's a look at how the Marlins line up. Morrison, Coughlin, and Stanton left to right in the outfield. Greg Dobbs, a former Philly, starting at third base for them. Gabby Sanchez. John Buck, also a new pickup for the Marlin club. 20 home run man last year with Toronto.
Volstad made a couple of starts against the Braves last year and pitched well. 1-0 with a 2.57 ERA, just 4 runs allowed in 14 innings.
High fly by McLeod to left. Morrison Nearly overran that ball, but recovered for the second out.
It's an adventure out there for Logan Morrison. He is a converted infielder. He was a first baseman. He's better than he was last year, but it is still a work in progress, as you see off the bat here in McLeod. He almost overran this ball. Well, he did overrun it. He made a nice recovery.
Here's Chipper. Wolstad doesn't waste any time, does he?
No, sir.
One strike.
Made that one back up a little bit. You've heard us talk in the past about a guy who throws a heavy ball. Well, Volstad has a heavy sinker because he throws it hard, and it's hard to elevate it.
He'll stretch for the first time. He walks Chipper and brings Brian McCann to the plate.
And even though he's a guy who relies on some ground balls, he's not like Tim Hudson. And that Tim, if he gets in a jam, if Tim happened to walk a couple of guys, he could strike somebody out and get out of trouble. Volstad can't rely on that. The contact, he has to hope somebody hits the ball at someone.
Marlins have a moderate shift on for Brian McCann. Andy Ramirez a couple of steps from being directly behind the second base bag. Omar Infante playing in shallow right field at second.
It's interesting how each team positions themselves for Brian. We remember Milwaukee had a drastic shift on for him. Philadelphia didn't shift at all, and these guys are kind of a moderate shift, even though Infante's 8 or 9 steps out into right field.
As a hitter, does that bother you?
Well, you see it and you notice it, but you also see where the holes are too. And I don't really consider Brian a dead pull hitter like Milwaukee was playing him, so I thought that played in his favor. Washington played him that way too, and remember he got a 2-run single, just a weak ground ball through the hole on the left side. Both of these pitchers tonight, Hansen and Volstad, were near the bottom of the league in terms of having stolen bases registered against them. Neither one were very good at holding runners because they're both tall and lanky, and it takes them a while to get unfurled out of the stretch. You can get a good jump on them.
What a cut. Now it's 3-2. Chipper will be off with the pitch with 2 outs. Let's see how the Marlins defend that.
Well, Brian last year had more RBIs against the Marlins than any other team. Well, that would figure since they're in the division. You play them more, but Brian had 16 RBIs against him in 18 games.
Sanchez backs up. Chipper takes off, and Brian swings and misses to retire the side. Chipper Jones left at first with Brian McCann's strikeout. And we're scoreless after 1. Academy Sports and Outdoors, by AT&T, by Delta Airlines, by Ford, and by Sonic. Back with you at Turner Field in Atlanta. No scores. We head to the second inning. Braves fans hoping to see it break back into the win column tonight against their division rivals from Florida. Mike Stanton starts it off. You talk to scouts, you read the publications talking about Florida's current team and their future. You read the term budding superstar with the name Mike Stanton.
Talk about Florida's future. Everything starts with this guy, Mike Stanton. And what a physical presence he is, and what a good athlete he is. $17 home runs after the All-Star break. He didn't get called up to about the middle of May. Hit 22 overall.
Had 100 games with the Marlins last year. 22 homers and 59 RBIs. He played 53 games at AA. And hit 21 home runs. So in 153 games, Stanton had 43 homers and 111 RBIs.
There you go. He's just going to get better and better.
Smack to center. And look at that ball find another gear and jump over Nate McLeod's head. And Stanton gallops in with a leadoff double. They have been a doubles hitting machine, have these Marlins hitters.
Fastball went right after him, and he turned on it, and it was like Chipper said last year, this guy's scary when he comes up there. You won't see Chipper crowding in from third base. And this ball, as you said, just took off like a jet.
So Florida with its 30th double as a team. Stanton has 3 of them. And it brings Gabby Sanchez to the plate.
There's 3 doubles, and there's 3 for 11, so all of his hits have been doubles. It's not even close.
No. And Laser Baker tells us they've had at least 2 doubles per game this year among those 30.
Nice to have Laser Baker back after winning the Masters. Congratulations.
Yes.
Dave.
Where's the green jacket?
Tommy's doing a good job of working in and out so far, and he's making good pitches. Better fastball tonight, too, than he had in his first 2 starts.
Struck out Ramirez with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball to end the first. Tommy was complaining about his slider in his last start. Never really felt comfortable, it seemed, with that pitch.
And he came to the big leagues with that notoriety. Fastball slider, a John Smoltz type slider.
That was a filthy pitch. And he's got 3 strikeouts.
That's exactly the same pitch he struck out Hanley Ramirez. And we were talking about how he's got to hit his spots. Well, the spot he's looking at right now is Brian McCann's glove, and he's doing a real good job of hitting it. Here's the Ramirez strikeout to end the first inning. Look at Brian's glove. You're not going to see it move. Bang, right there on the corner. And he did the same thing to Gabby Sanchez.
Logan Morrison, the hitter. Morrison, a 22nd round draft pick.
This guy can hit. Last year in spring training, I remember they were trying to decide is it going to be Morrison or Sanchez that wins the first base job. Gabby Sanchez went on to have a great year, winning the job in spring training. He was 4th in the Rookie of the Year voting. But they couldn't keep this guy down. They had to find a place for his bat. That's why he's in left field.
Is it a fair comparison to say Ryan Klesko?
I think that's probably pretty accurate. He's a great, big, strong guy. I wouldn't call him the most nimble of outfielders, certainly, but he's working at it and getting better. So, yes, that's pretty good.
And he certainly had a memorable time here in Atlanta August 27th last year.
Off Tommy Hanson. First Major League homer.
Ground ball to second. Dan Uggla throws out Morrison. Stanton to third with 2 outs. John Buck is the new Marlins catcher.
Well, they're thrilled to have him. They suffered through a lot of injuries with their catching core last year. I figure on having this guy behind the plate for 130 games or more.
Mentioned his power, hit 20 home runs for Toronto, but also very good at throwing out runners. Had the second best caught stealing percentage in the American League last year.
Well, it's interesting because he had a reputation of being kind of an all-hit, no-catch type guy. I mean, he wasn't known for his defensive ability, but his teammate and fellow catcher last year in Toronto was Jose Molina, and he said, I think I'd become an honorary Molina brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, there's 3 of them. He might as well join the club.
He said because Jose really did a wonderful thing, helping him, taught him everything that he needed to know about improving his game behind the plate. And maybe that helped in his throwing, too.
Toward third, catcher running. Tommy Hanson pitches out of a leadoff double from Mike Stanton in the second inning. Former Marlin Dan Uggla leads things off for the Braves as we remain scoreless. Out a leadoff double, but stranded Mike Stanton. And down the middle of the order coming up for the Braves. Don't forget, stay tuned for Braves Live after our game. Fred and Brian want to hear from you. Log on to foxsportssouth.com and send your questions to Ask the Analyst. You might see your question answered live on the air. Head to foxsportssouth.com for more details. You heard Dan say in the pregame how much he was looking forward to facing his former team. Well, here's his first chance to bat against them tonight.
Well, he doesn't have a former teammate catching for the Marlins, so he doesn't have to go up and engage in any conversation there.
Popped up. Omar Infante with a two-handed grab. And Dan Uggla 0 for his last 12 is the first out. Jason Heyward, the batter. Jason with a 3-game hitting streak. 267 average for the year so far. Don't you love it when the umpire tells you where the pitch was?
And he better be right.
To first. And 2 out.
No, I do. I like it when a guy's vocal like that. Mike Everett shouting it out tonight. It's good umpiring crew. I think we've had excellent umpiring in this whole start of the season. The first 10 games, balls and strikes. By and large, as a group, they've all been very good.
Alex Gonzalez, the batter, with the bases empty. You know, that's something Bobby Cox always said. The game seems to flow better. It's much more entertaining when the umpires hunt for strikes behind the plate. Broken bat. Omar with a 360 spin made a very nice play. And that retires the side. 23 pitches for Volstad through 2 scoreless innings at Turner Field here in Atlanta. Minds are thinking as they face their former team. Well, how about the Braves manager, Freddie Gonzalez?
Our Geico quote of the day from Freddie, courtesy of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Seems like the first or second year we were throwing out balls every day. like first major league hit for so-and-so. Those are things that were special.
As was, I'm sure, the chance for Freddie to manage for the first time in the major leagues. Did a heck of a job with those very young Marlins. And the stats don't lie. The Marlins did not have a very good bullpen, which was a big, big problem for Freddie and would be for any manager. But as we talked about in our opening comments, that's an area they try to improve this offseason.
It is a good bullpen. It's a hard-throwing bullpen. 2 lefties down there for the first time in some time. Heads up, Wayne. I'll tell you what, we've got camera operators down there field side that are like rodeo clowns.
Why do they shoot Wayne when you say that?
More ways than one.
2 balls and a strike to Greg Dobbs. Greg, a non-roster player this spring with the Marlins. Hoping that Matt Dominguez, a former #1 pick, would earn that job. Didn't hit much. So Dobbs got the third base job and hasn't stopped hitting since. And Tommy retires him to start the 3rd inning. Fans, order the Chevron Family Value Plan today. You'll get 4 Braves tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 Cokes, parking, a program, and a $5 Chevron gift card for just $69. To order the best deal in sports, call 800-745-3000 or buy the Chevron Value Plan online at Braves.com. It's a big strike zone.
Like it.
Just up the road from Miami in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. First round pick in 2005.
He was a young protege of Jim Palmer, the Hall of Famer. There was a story about how Palmer was getting some golf lessons from the golf pro in nearby Palm Beach Gardens, and at the end of the lesson, the pro said, "You know, I got a kid on my travel team that I'm coaching that I'd sure like for you to work with a little bit."
That ball sharply hit. And 2 outs.
I want to show you something here side by side that the guys in the truck came up with. It's pretty cool. Now, what you're going to be watching for is that the signs from the catchers are going to come at the same time. But watch how much quicker Volstead delivers his pitch. Signs. Man, I mean, he is ready. Now, one difference might be that he was throwing a fastball, a sinker, and Hanson was throwing a breaking ball, which might have taken him just a second to kind of load up the grip on it. But there was quite a difference there between sign and delivery for these 2 guys.
Here's Coghlan. A bunt, and it's a beauty. Chipper with a bare hand, but not in time.
That was a beauty. When you bunt it to third, you square around sooner, which he did. And you want it to be a base hit or foul. And only Chipper's good play made it even close.
Uggla really started the year very slowly at the plate last season, but broke out in the month of June. Had 40 hits in the month of June last year. But as Joe mentioned, just 91 games with assorted injuries. And now he's aboard for Omar Infante with 2 out.
And could be running here. 2 outs, Omar at the plate. Coghlan doesn't have a stolen base yet, but he likes to run.
Harris stole 10 bases last year, was caught just 3 times.
Messed up a knee about halfway through the season that really cut into his season. In fact, he only played in 7 games after the All-Star break.
Is he another victim of a crazy walk-off celebration deal?
Torn meniscus.
Quickly 0-2.
During the course of the season, you'll hear us talk about these situations. 2 outs, second hitter up with a bad count. So it's not a good count to run on, but if you get thrown out, you've got Infante leading off the next inning.
Another quarter step on that lead. Dan Uggla, another clean ground ball out. Marlins have scattered 2 hits, have yet to score as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Fox Sports crew from Turner Field. Let's see if Atlanta can break through against Chris Holstad. Freddie Freeman, Tommy Hanson, Martin Prado, all scheduled to hit. Freddie has a hit in each of the last 4 games he's played.
We talked about this Sunday about against Hamels, how Freddie was locked in, had good at bats, staying in there with that front shoulder, driving the ball the other way. But against right-handers, he's 2 for 19 on the year. That's what's eating him up. And I'm not sure if it's because he might be flying open a little bit on the righties, having a little bit different approach against them, maybe even concentration-wise. But something he and Larry Parrish, I'm sure, will get straightened out.
Oh, 0-2 now to 3-2 for Freddie. At the knees.
Heavy sinker. That's his best pitch. You got to look for the ball down, and that was down. That looked a little low. Like you said, though, it's been a generous strike zone for both sides tonight. Case in point right there. That looked like ball 4.
Second strikeout for Volstad. Here's Tommy Hansen. Slow roller that will trickle foul. No balls, 2 strikes. Marlins playing for the present, also playing for the future. They move into a new ballpark next year. Figure to have a young, dynamic team for their new stadium.
It's a small attendance capacity ballpark, 36,000 fan capacity, with a view of downtown Miami on the side of the old Orange Bowl, and by all reports it's ahead of schedule and under budget and beautiful.
And with a roof.
Yeah. Shame. I don't think the Mikosuke Canal winds its way down there, that part of town, so
we'll find a way to make it so, however, from time to time. Those of you that don't know the story, one of the great opens in Braves radio history. My dad and Joe from the banks of the Mikosuke Canal. As Volstad picks up his 3rd strikeout. Here is a look at the new Marlins Stadium on what was the site of the old Orange Bowl.
Retractable roof is up, and that will be glass pane, so you'll always be able to see downtown whether the roof is open or closed. Very modern looking park from all the drawings I saw.
It's an exciting time for the Marlins franchise. And hopefully that'll help stabilize things and get people coming to the ballpark more frequently. Attendance, as we all know, at Sun Life Stadium has been a problem.
I don't know if it was the last opening day for baseball at Joe Robbie Lanchart Dolphin Stadium, but they had some good crowds for that first weekend with the Mets.
That's past Infante. And Martin Prado now has a 6-game hitting streak, and he's aboard for Nate McLouth with 2 outs. That's the first Braves hit.
High breaking ball, too. Gave him a chance to adjust and serve it past his pal Infante.
So let's see if the same rule applies for the Braves offense that might have applied for the Marlins just a few moments ago. Your leadoff man's on with 2 outs. Your second place hitter in the box. Let's see if Freddie tries a little running action to force things here in a scoreless game.
Walked 4 in his first start against Washington. He got no decision. His teammates bailed him out. They won 7-4. 5 innings, 4 hits, 4 walks. Finish up that story about Palmer, though. Palmer did work with this kid and then became so fond of him. I mean, he kept, as he got older, kept helping him with his delivery and his mechanics, his grips. So he's very close to Chris Volstad.
High fly ball rocketed toward right. Stanton can't get it. Martin around third. The relay cut off.
Boy, Nate put a good swing on this. He got the count in his favor. 3-1 pitch. No sink to this one. That was fastball down the middle, and Nate, great extension, stayed back, stayed level, and almost hit it out of the park. Martin had a feeling, too, it wasn't going to go out of the ballpark. He knew he had to hustle.
So the Braves strike first with 2 outs, lead 1-0 for Chipper Jones. And here's a spot where one of the early trends is very surprising about this Braves club. They have not had many chances to hit with runners in scoring position this year.
Well, and it's a real funny oddity about that. They have the fewest number of runners in scoring position to hit, yet when they get the opportunities, they're leading the National League in that category with a .345 average, but they've scored the fewest number of runs. So it's kind of an odd statistic. Only 58 at bats compared to this Florida team, which is third highest. They've already had 100 at bats with men in scoring position. So the high average is not computing to runs because there aren't many at bats with.
Freeman and Hansen struck out to start the inning. Martin Prado single to right. McLeod doubled him home to right center. And now Chipper's ahead in the count. Chipper already over 2,500 hits for his career. That happened on this homestand. 3 RBIs away still from 1,500. Volstad falling behind the 1, 2, and 3 hitters in this Braves lineup.
Good change up there. It throws that mostly to left-handers. Doesn't use it very often to right-handers. Long inning for him.
Line shot left center. McLeod around third. He will score standing up.
Made him look bad on the changeup. Looked like he came back with something else off speed, maybe a breaking ball, and all Chipper did was throw his bat in front of it. When you get over 2,500 hits, they're not all line drives and things of beauty. Sometimes you've got to have a little one-handed, got fooled out on your front foot, but got the bat in the right spot and still drove in a run.
But isn't that a great lesson? Just put the ball in play.
Yeah. You're not going to get him in if you strike out.
7th RBI for Chipper. Braves get a hit with their first runner in scoring position tonight. Now Brian McCann bats. 2-0. Braves in front. Chipper had to wait for that one to bounce by. And Brian rolls out to retire the side. Little 2-out lightning for Atlanta. A couple of singles. Hank McLeod for double. Braves give Tommy Hansen an early 2-0 lead. by Sherwin-Williams. By Fox Sports South are brought to you in part by Sherwin-Williams, by the Georgia Lottery, by Academy Sports and Outdoors, by Joel and Associates, and by Acura. Good start for the Braves. They lead by 2 after 3 here at Turner Field. And Tommy Hanson will face Hanley Ramirez, Mike Stanton, and Gabby Sanchez for the Florida Marlins. Dan Uggla leads his former team. And our AT&T Uverse trivia question: who holds the Braves' single-season record for home runs as a second baseman?
Thinking Davy Johnson.
That's who I was thinking. I mean, we'd love to say Mark Lemke.
I'd love to say Mark Lemke, but I probably won't. Maybe Mark would just be happy if we said Mark Lemke. Oh no, what about Davy Johnson?
Yeah, Mark had a lot of power, but I don't think he has quite as much as Davy Johnson. He's had a good fastball tonight.
Yes, he has. Best one of the first 3 starts. And it all works off his fastball. But 92 is about the tops for his first 2 starts. And tonight he's been as high as 95.
In fact, Tommy had 3 strikeouts in his first 9 innings. He struck out 3 in tonight's game alone. Breaking ball, hit out to short. One out. Fans take advantage of Braves Value Days and save up to $11 off each game ticket. The first Value Days of the year are this series against the Marlins. 2 more games to follow tonight. Value Day tickets must be purchased in advance at braves.com/valuedays. Mike Stanton playing with a sore hamstring. Doubled his first time up. Was left stranded at third base in the Florida second.
I said earlier tonight that Chipper Jones has a lot of respect for Mike Stanton.
He'd like a little more, wouldn't he?
He won't play any deeper than that for anyone all year. Good pitch. Made him flinch and dropped it in for a strike. That's not a pitch you want to live on. A breaking ball on the inside part of the plate. But fortunately, Stanton buckled out of the way.
One thing television cannot do that being at the ballpark in person does do is give you an idea of just how big the players are.
I agree.
And look at Stanton standing in the batter's box. That's a 6'5", 248-pound man swinging the bat. He hits a line drive to right, and is 2 for 2.
Big Freddie Freeman is. He's 6'5", about 230. Wouldn't expect Stanton to do any running. He's been on the shelf here at the beginning of the season because of a bad hamstring, and he had a bad quad during spring training that slowed him down.
Very short lead with one out. Here's Gabby Sanchez. Safe to say this guy kind of flew under the radar last year?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he was a viable Rookie of the Year candidate in his own right. Put up some good numbers.
And a double play ball. Alex with a double clutch. The barrel of the bat went flying. And Sanchez and the Marlins doubled up to end the fourth inning. Tommy Hanson, very aggressive and very successful so far tonight. He has a 2-0 lead. Getting a ton of groundouts in the first 4 innings of work. Leads by 2, and the Braves bats go back to work.
Dan came back from Milwaukee after the road trip saying that he hadn't been very selective, that he had been chasing some bad pitches that were getting him in bad counts.
Pop to right. Ball carrying. Look at that thing. Takes Stanton to within 2 steps of the wall.
That was all wind blown. It was really stiff going out to right. But some of those same issues are still something Dan's working on, trying not to get himself in a hole chasing bad pitches. He went 0 for 11 in the Philadelphia series, again against good pitching. But you got to be patient sometimes too to sit on a pitch you're looking for.
Jason Heyward bats. And here's our Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboard.
Been on base 18 straight games. Gabby Sanchez 13 straight. Jason grounded out his first time tonight.
That ball's crushed. Coughlin will turn straight away center, and it's 3-0.
Reach first, he reached second, he's reached third, and come on home. Got his arms extended, Chip. Out away from him, fastball. Arms extended. Great bat speed when he's able to get those hands out away from him. It's his third.
So the Braves up 3. Jason now with a 4-game hitting streak. Popped back. In the air to right. And again, the wind plays some tricks, but Stanton hung with it. And 2 are out.
It's not a good sign for Volstead when he is giving up some fly balls that in Jason's case turned into a home run. He's got to keep the ball down and use that hard, heavy sinker.
Lined like a cannon into right. 5-game hit streak for Freddie Freeman.
Certainly wasn't pulling off that pitch. He really was diving in and over the plate to get this low pitch. Watch his front shoulder go in and down over the plate and then drive through it. I mean, that ball jumped off his bat. You're right, Chip.
But you could see Omar Infante think about trying to leap for that ball.
Omar can really jump, but not like that.
Not that quick. Braves will clear Tommy Hanson. Andy Ramirez will charge and retire the side. Hey, heard somebody yell easy down there.
Yeah.
And Jason made this look easy, didn't he? He launches his 3rd homer of the year, and the Braves enjoy a 3-0 lead.
Been sharp so far tonight in our Sherwin-Williams pitching sequence here. You'll see him hitting his spots tonight. You'll see McCann not having to move his glove hardly at all for any of these pitches that were all outs. Getting a couple of spots for strikeouts, too. Cutter, the outside part of the plate. Breaking ball right here. It was away. Working both sides of the plate, and with the fastball really hitting the corners. Great effort so far.
Now the bottom part of the order coming up for the Marlins. It'll start with Logan Morrison. Morrison involved in one of the scariest plays I've ever seen in a baseball diamond last year down in Miami. Remember when that foul ball hit him in the on-deck circle right in the face?
I forgot about that, but yeah, I do remember now.
And the on-deck circles down in Miami seem to be so much closer to home plate than just about any other ballpark. The eyes swelled up. It was all black and blue. We're going to take Morrison to the hospital and make him stay home. He said the heck with that. Checked out fine. Was on the team charter that night to wherever the Marlins went.
I think they went to Washington.
That sounds right.
And he played the next night, didn't
he? He sure did. That's inside the bag and pulled fair. Morrison on his way to second, picks up the coach and leads off with a double. That's his fourth double. And Morrison's been on base in every Marlin game this year.
And what'd you tell me earlier? They've had at least 2 doubles in every game, so there's their second one tonight. And he did a nice piece of hitting here. He's really kind of draped over the plate too, and then turns on the ball down the line. Hansen gave up a leadoff double in the second to Stanton, but was able to get out of the inning by not allowing any ball to be hit out of the infield. Also had a strikeout.
Here's Buck. He pops the first pitch up. Tough play. Uggla calls off Freeman, makes the play, foul ground. Morrison thought about tagging but can't go anywhere.
Dan Uggla's been unbelievable defensively. This is such a hard play, and not only does he just make the catch, but he's able to get rid of the throw with something on it and keep Morrison at second base. Terrific play, and just one of many he's made already in the first 11 games.
And it's really ironic, too, that Dan has credited Perry Hill, who's the Marlins infield coach, with really helping him learn how to be a major league middle infielder. I talked with Perry about how would you describe Dan when he first came to you? And he said the word would be raw. I mean, very athletic, very aggressive. Almost had to totally rebuild the way that he played the game defensively. And Dan said as much. I mean, it was something as simple as getting the footwork right on how to field a ground ball.
He's renowned for his work with infielders, and when Dan first came up, he was part of the club, then left the club for a time for personal reasons, and now back, and they said he's also helping Gabby Sanchez at first base with his footwork.
Said about Hill was not just the little ins and outs of how to play the position, but confidence. And I asked Perry, is Dan's reputation an unfair one when it comes to his glove? And he said, all I can tell you is I'll take him on my team right now.
Yeah. Well, you had him.
Yeah, that's true. But you know how it is in this game, how tough reputations are to shake.
Yeah. Dan's doing a good job of putting a lot of that to rest. Here's a guy trying to shake some reputation of just being nothing but a pull hitter. Greg Dobbs was a guy when he was mostly a pinch hitter with the Phillies. He got into a bad habit of just trying to lift the ball out of Citizens Bank Park. So he's gotten back to hitting the ball to all parts of the field, and he's been a hot hitter for the Marlins.
Came in at .545 for the season. And he walks with Chris Volstad coming up. We invite you to visit GeorgiaPower.com to find ways to save money and energy. Shouldn't that say sniff out ways to save money and energy with the Labrador Retriever puppy? Yeah. David Ross rubbing off on Brian McCann, huh?
I like it. Cut down his lead a little bit. You might get a double play on this guy. Volstad, big old lanky guy, doesn't get down the line that quickly. And with Tommy Hanson pounding some fastballs in there, maybe he bunts the ball hard and you can pick up a double play.
Tipped. Strike two.
Well, strikeout wouldn't be a bad thing either. He was 5 for 54 as a hitter last year. And that's why he'll probably still be bunting. Tosca, the bench coach, giving some signs to Chipper to give to the rest of the infielders about defending this bunt.
Two and two. There is the strikeout. 4 in the game for Tommy. And the top of the order hits with 2 out and 2 aboard. Coughlin had a bunt single in the third. He also struck out to start the game.
Shouldn't have to worry about the bunt here. Not a good situation to try to bunt for a hit and load him up. It's like you're passing the baton to someone else, in this case Infante, to drive in the run. Chipper doesn't have to worry about playing in too close. Whatever Tommy needed to work on with his slider, it's helped tonight. It's been sharp.
Dangerous count now, 3 balls and a strike.
He overthrew that pitch a little bit. Knowing he was behind in the count, he wanted to make a little extra on it. let it get away from him.
He has had that corner at that level from the opening pitch of the game.
That's not where McCann drew it up. But you know what? Give Mike Everett credit. That's the same strike he called on Freddie Freeman for strike 3. Might have been a little low. Coughlin certainly thought it was, but that's the same pitch Everett gave Volstad on Freeman.
Runners will go with 2 outs. Tommy Hanson makes the Marlins waste another leadoff double. Hats on our Joel and Associates game summary.
Gotta like it. That's always a good sign. It makes you feel good going to the bottom of the 5th, knowing that you're ahead 3-0 the way Tommy Hanson's pitching. McLouth with an RBI, Chipper with an RBI, but Jason Heyward with a long RBI in the 4th inning. His 3rd home run of the season to straightaway center, and his 2nd career homer off Volstad.
We like to call that Simpson.
Yeah. There in center. Simpson Acres, yep.
Here's my team. He's 1 for 2 and scored a run. You look up and down the lineup. Browno's got a 6-game hitting streak. Heyward now a 4-gamer. Freddie Freeman a 5-gamer. Alex Gonzalez working on a 3-game hit streak. And the Braves are getting hits, but as we said earlier, they just haven't had the opportunity to put together big innings.
And it seemed like in the Phillies series, it was rarely with anybody leading off an inning. They had 1 leadoff hit against Hamels, but everything else, especially when they really had something cooking, it was always with 2 outs. And tonight, quite honestly, in the 3rd inning, their 2-run inning came with 2 outs.
Yep. That's inside the bag down the 3rd base line. Martine's going to try for 2. Morrison got to it quickly, but not quick enough. Another multi-hit game for Martin Prado.
Don't you just love to watch him hit?
Yes.
I mean, a little soft line drive to right. Now a hard hit shot down the 3rd base line. There's no one way to defend him. There's no one way to pitch him. Manning hit the ball out of the ballpark.
His 4th multi-hit game of the year. And now McLouth with a beautiful bunt.
Well done. I like that. If you're not sure if you're going to be able to pull a guy and pull it to the right side to get that leadoff double over to third base, then if you're a good bunter like Nate, hey, put it down. You might feed it out.
Now the Marlins infield has to come in with Chipper up and Martin at third base and 1 out. Chipper 2 RBIs now away from 1,500. That's into the seats, foul.
Fortunately, they tied him up with that one.
Chipper trying to become only the 3rd switch hitter in history with 1,500 or more RBIs.
Mickey and Eddie Murray. Stopped by Buck.
Line into left. Morrison on the run. Makes the play. Prado will tag and score. A sacrifice fly, and it's 4-0.
This ball was obviously hit better than the time before, but not a whole lot different. Just not fooled quite as much, and the pitch was away. Buck set up away. Chipper just that magic one. Good balance. Even though his right foot might have been striding a little bit to the first base side of second, his upper body didn't. His upper body stayed in over the plate.
High fly ball. Belted right. That baby's bullpen bound.
First one of the year for Brian McCann, and no doubt about it. Volstat knew it. It cleared the bullpen bench too, didn't it?
Well, out there in Simpson Acres, you know, there's a lot of turn.
Over the bench. Yeah. Big bull.
Two in the third, one in the fourth, two more here in the fifth against Volstat. Marlins bullpen will start to work.
Brian Sanchez loosening up. Decided he really didn't want to play on the mound, pitch on the mound, so.
How about that? A broken bat hit for Dan Uggla, who's going to try for two. And he's going to make it. His first home hit as a Brave, a broken bat double into shallow right.
Where'd that piece fly off? Was it off cupped into the bat? Pitches away. Yeah. Right off the end of the bat, just splintered it. And you're right, he wasn't thinking anything but double as soon as he came out of the box. Look at him go.
Dan McCann's always said, for whatever reason, the month of April and I just don't get along when it comes to the batting average. But I would imagine the weight of the world off his shoulders after getting his first home hit out of the way in this fifth inning.
He'd been 0 for 13.
Florida will take the bat out of the hands of Jason Heyward.
Brian McCann's home run, another example of great timing, but also staying back. Watch how, when he does stride, he plants against a real firm front side, and that is such a straight line there, and stays back, allows his hands to work. The upper body stays back, and some great bat speed to jump on one and hit it that far.
So Heyward will be walked intentionally, and that's going to end the night for Marlins starter Chris Volstad. Brought to you in part by Blimpie, by AT&T Uverse, by Geico, by Toyota, and by Georgia Power. Boy, it's nice to see this kind of outburst at home. The Braves enjoying a 5-0 lead. Chris Volstad disappointed with the way things have turned out. And it's time for a Sherwin-Williams pitching change.
Brian Sanchez last year had a good year for these guys and set career highs in ERA, appearances, innings pitched, and strikeouts. And something you may not know about him is that over the last 2 years, he has the third lowest ERA among relievers in the National League, behind Mike Adams and Heath Bell.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. So when I said, you may not know, I meant me.
And me. And it's no surprise that the Marlins have kept Sanchez part of that much improved bullpen.
Yeah. That ERA over the last 2 years is 2.28.
Did he close games for them last year when Nunez had some trouble?
I think they had, it's not a revolving door. Nunez was their guy, but you're right. When he started, he had some bad spells. I think they used Sanchez some.
Alex off stride, pops it up. Dobbs at the mound makes the play. Braves bats have broken out in a big way tonight. Jason Heyward has homered, and Brian McCann picks up his first into Simpson Acres. That's a 5-0 Braves lead.
News and notes around baseball, and some not so good news in the National League for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Rafael Furcal placed on the disabled list with a broken left thumb. He will be out a couple of months, probably at least, they're saying. And Ryan Zimmerman on the DL for Washington with a strained abdominal muscle. That's not good going into the Phillies series. Results not in yet on Josh Hamilton's injured right shoulder that he hurt today against Detroit.
Yeah, Furcal broke his thumb with a first slide. Washington tonight without Ryan Zimmerman, beating the Phillies at home 5-1. Omar, a comeback for out number 1 in the 6th. I've got 8 ground ball outs for Tommy Hanson. I've got him for 5 strikeouts.
Gotta like that, don't you? That's keeping the ball down. That's also dictating the at-bats, getting ahead, establishing the fastball. And I don't know if this is the right word or not, Chip, but it just seems like he's pitching with more conviction tonight. Every time he does throw a fastball, he's got an idea where he wants to throw it and is delivering it there.
Deep short from his knees, and Freeman the scoop.
Beautiful on both ends. Ramirez gets down the line pretty fast. So Alex from one knee, a little short on the throw, but nice dig again by Freddie Freeman. Those were quick reactions there by Alex to save the hit. Not the way I felt too, Tommy.
Here's Stanton, 2 for 2. Producer Joe Vincius has an update for us on the Josh Hamilton story. It's not a shoulder, is it?
Not a shoulder. He has a broken right upper arm. Suffered in a slide at home plate, head first. Upset, apparently, we're told, with his third base coach for sending him to the plate. Don't have to slide head first.
I was going to ask you, is that an instinct thing or is it just a bad habit?
It has to be, because everybody does it now, but no one is taught to slide head first at home. In fact, you're warned against it. Guy at home plate with all the gear on is going to win that
battle. The Rangers lose a big part of their offense. A 7-pitch inning for Tommy Hanson, and great Atlanta defense, which has been a very positive story in the season's first week and a half. Braves enjoy a 5-run lead. changing clubs. Seems like the fates of Tommy Hanson and Chris Volstad have switched as well tonight.
Certainly a reversal of fortunes there for these two guys. You can go 8-1 if you're getting almost 8 runs a game to work with there in the second half, couldn't you?
Well, I don't know if I could, but
yeah, you might. I think you'd have a good shot. 5 and fly.
I wonder when the last time Tommy Hanson had a 5-run lead in a game. That's something for our crack staff to work on as this one moves along. And he's pitched great baseball tonight. And Freddie Freeman starts the 6th. Morrison in the corner has room. No wind, it's a no-doubter.
Might have held it up.
But 1 out. Back to our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Who's got the Braves' single-season record for home runs as an Atlanta second baseman?
We're going Davey Johnson, aren't we? Had 3 guys in that team that year hit 40 or more.
You know who the low man was among that trio?
The Hammer.
Hank Aaron hit 40. Darrell Evans bested him by 1.
Hank hit 40, Evans 41, Davey 43. I believe that's the only time that's been done in history.
Andy Ramirez at short.
By the way, today, April 12th, is an historic date in Atlanta Braves history because it marks the date of the first game played in Atlanta when they moved here from Milwaukee. Played it against the Pittsburgh Pirates at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. They lost 3-2 in 13 innings. Willie Stargell hit a home run to win the ball game for the Pirates. All the runs were the result of home runs, and Joe Torre hit 2 homers that day for the Braves. Don Schwal, your winner. Tony Cloninger, your loser.
Dad told a story, and I didn't realize this. You know what the original plan for the old ballpark was? To be domed.
Really?
He said that Mayor Ivan Allen told him one time the original plan was to put a roof on top of Fulton County Stadium. But they were, I use this word tongue-in-cheek, only $1 million shy of being able to put a dome on top of Fulton County Stadium. They just ran out of money. There's nothing else left with all the civic support to build the ballpark. Think of how different baseball history would have been had that been the case. Want to draw a dome?
No, probably not.
Sanchez continues his good work out of the Marlins bullpen. 1, 2, 3, and out go the Braves in the 6th. Beautiful night in Atlanta at Turner Field. The Braves are shutting out the Fish.
defense has been really good. Made a few errors in the Phillies series, but while that may have cost them a little bit in the standings, they're still 4th in the National League in fielding percentage. They're showing you tonight some good glove work. Uggla, Hanson, Gonzalez, Freeman, doing good work.
Yeah, last year only 2 teams made more errors than the Braves did.
If they stay up there in the top 5, what a wonderful improvement that would be in their defense. And before batting practice today, as he said he would, Freddie had the guys on the field.
Yep.
The outfielders were throwing to the bases like the good old days of infield practice. He says he's going to do that at least once a homestand. So we saw it today.
And maybe it's helped. Andy Sanchez is struck out. He's hit into a double play.
Bullpen getting busy. O'Flaherty and Moylan beginning to toss because Tommy Hanson is in his 7th inning. Remember, he only went 3 2/3 against Washington and threw 68 pitches, and threw 89 pitches in 5 1/3 at Milwaukee.
He just threw his 91st, and Sanchez aboard to lead off the Florida 7th inning. The Delta Civil Rights Games coming to Atlanta for the first time. Join us May 13th, 14th, and 15th when the Braves battle the Phillies, and we celebrate baseball's contributions to the civil rights movement. Great events take place all weekend. On May 14th, there's a ludicrous post-game concert. May 15th, the Delta Civil Rights Game. And for more information, visit braves.com/civil rights. One to Logan Morrison.
Cincinnati off to a good start. They've won 7 of their first 10 games. A 2-game lead over the Cubs and Milwaukee, and the Pirates. Pirates playing good.
Yeah, Clint Hurdle's got them playing good ball in Steel City. Amazingly, the Pirates, who won only 17 games on the road all year last year, have won 4 of their first 6.
Good for them.
I mean, think about that. You go 17 and 64 on the road. That is a long year.
That's a long summer.
Two.
Like that got his back foot. No, the front one, he got out on his, shifted his weight out on his front foot on that breaking ball, and right off the instep. Logan Morrison, all the nicknames around baseball and celebrities with J-Lo, A-Rod. For his teammates, he's Lomo.
Lomo. Into center and well hit. But Nate tracks it down at the wall.
I know the guy's real strong. That ball just didn't sound right. All the time Nate's running after it, I never really felt like this ball was hit well enough to get out of here. And neither did Nate, because he only took one look at the wall and tracked it all the way. Good play. Jason Heyward hit his ball in that direction over the fence, there was a ring to it. There was a loud crack. That one was kind of splatted.
And Morrison's first big league home run came against Tommy Hanson in this park last August. And he nearly hit his third of the year a moment ago. Now Chipper at third. Around the horn. Quick turn and the stretch. Have yourself a night with the glove, Dan Uggla. Braves by 5 at the 7th inning stretch. Bottom of the 7th inning in Atlanta. Glad you're with us tonight. Nate McLeod will start things off. Our Delta on deck hitter is Chipper Jones, looking for a little history, as you see. He'll take aim at Brian Sanchez at the conclusion of Nate's at bat. Nate's had a good game this evening. He's doubled home a run and scored. He also sacrificed, and that led to a Chipper Jones RBI. See the Marlins, you got to keep your Sanchez's straight, don't you?
You got to check out the last letter.
You got Gabby Sanchez playing first. You got Anibal Sanchez, the starting pitcher, and Brian Sanchez with the S in the bullpen.
This guy doesn't break the radar gun. He's high 80s. But he's got a good slider and he's got a real good split.
Sanchez originally selected by the Royals back in 1999. Made it to the big leagues with the Phillies in 2006. Washington for 12 games in 08. He's been in Florida ever since and really turned his career around down in Miami. Nederland, Texas, and Lamar University. He paints the outside corner and has his second strikeout.
to show you something on Chipper's last at bat when he hit that sacrifice fly. Now, some guys watch his front foot is going to kind of step in the bucket a little bit, but his upper body is going to stay over the plate. You can step out a little, but as long as your upper body stays in and helps you cover the plate, you're still going to drive the ball, and that's what he did on that sac fly. If your upper body follows your foot and you're bailing out or everything's moving away from the plate, you got no shot to do anything with that pitch.
Gabby Sanchez at first, and 2 out. It spoils Chipper's perfect night at the plate. Still 2 RBIs and a hit. Ryan McCann, the batter. Not too late, friends. Braves prorated season ticket plans are still available. They start as low as $4 a game. Visit Braves.com or call 404-577-9100. 2 more with the Fish. Then the New York Mets come to town before we head west on a very long, difficult road trip.
Another guy in L.A. that always gives the Braves fit is Chad Billings. They just signed him to a contract extension. You don't know who you're going to get in that series yet, but they'll be toughies.
Braves hoping that Jair Jurgens will be ready to go on Saturday. Sounds like he threw the ball great at AAA yesterday.
Yeah, 6 innings worth. Gave up a couple of runs, but declared himself ready to go, and no ill effects from that strained oblique.
If his turn is Saturday, he's scheduled to pitch against Mike Pelfrey of the Mets. Tommy Hanson, tonight's Braves starter. His next start will be the homestand wrap-up against Jonathan Neese. Bat Dobbs the handle. The barrel ended out on the pitching mound. Boy, the bats have been shattering big time tonight. And to the 8th inning we go. Atlanta comfortably in front by a 5-0 score. Limpy game summary.
A lot of A's still up there, and the Braves got good work from Tommy Henson tonight. 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. A couple of long home runs, too, backing him up. But Tommy with 5 strikeouts tonight. He just looked like his old self this evening. From the very first inning on, he struck out 2 in the first inning. threw a 4-hit shutout over 7 innings. Jason Heyward, his 3rd homer of the year, 433-foot blast to center. And Brian McCann, one that probably went just about as far into the Braves bullpen in the 5th inning.
So 7 innings of shutout ball, enough for Tommy tonight, as Freddie Gonzalez makes the AT&T call to the bullpen.
And that will be Eric O'Flaherty. Will come on to work to the pinch hitter Wes Helms. 5th game for Eric. 3 2/3, 4 hits, no runs.
Wes Helms had 4 home runs last year for Florida.
During the Phillies series, we're showing a graphic with active pinch hit leaders, and Ross Glode of the Phillies was a member of that group. Well, guess what? Wes Helms 2nd among the active pinch hitters, behind Matt Stairs.
Wes will be 35 on May the 12th. Fans might recall he played with the Braves in '98, 2000, 2001, and 2002. Best year was 2003 with Milwaukee. Hit 23 home runs that year. Eric O'Flaherty will retire to start the 8th inning. Get your tickets now. The Braves and the Mets battle for the first time this weekend. Publix fireworks on Friday. The Braves Equipment Fund Drive is Saturday. And kids can run the bases and alumni autographs on Sunday afternoon. For tickets, visit Braves.com or dial 800-745-3000. Emilio Bonifacio will bat for Sanchez. Bonifacio from Washington. A trade for Scott Olson and Josh Willingham before the 2009 season.
And he can fly.
Limited duty last year, a perfect 12 for 12 in steals.
Stanton was hurt. Bonifacio was playing some right field. He already has 2 assists this year from right field at first base. Throwing out guys that rounded first a little too far.
Another guy like Omar who can play all over the diamond for the Marlins. He stays alive, 3-2.
Here's what I was talking about. Just went over to get a hit, and then when the base was rounded too far, picked him off. Houston, you got Brett Wallace, same thing.
Fast guys on with 1 out. So Eric has Bonifacio at first. Chris Coughlin coming up. Braves have struck him out twice in 3 tries tonight. Braves bullpen off to a terrific start. Perfect 3 for 3 in saves. They've won their only decision. O'Flaherty's retiring of Helms. The relief corps set down 22 of 32 first batters faced.
It's a great number, especially in a close ball game. Braves have a nice cushion tonight, but typically these guys are coming in tight situations and need to get that first one. one's a little hard to explain. There's Moylan getting ready. All those great numbers in his Rookie of the Year season. And I know he was hurt some last year. But you just wonder if the league's catching up to him a little bit, if they're figuring out some things. 9 for 43 on the year with 8 strikeouts, and look at the splits lefty and righty. Early in the season, only 9+ games in. Just saw it, got sawed off again by a lefty in O'Flaherty. Let's see what happens on this 0-2 pitch.
You mentioned what he did in June of last year with those 40 hits. In August of his rookie season, he had 47 hits. I mean, just ridiculous numbers. Hit .321, 162 hits in 128 games.
Well, he likes to go that way. He likes to hit the ball to left, whether it's left-handed or right-handed. He's willing to inside out a lot of pitches and hit some line drives to left and left center.
He always hit in the minor leagues. Near 300 hitter for his minor league career.
It was a compensation draft, right?
Yes, for A.J. Burnett. Like the Braves, that's something the Marlins have done exceptionally well too. They have really done great work with their scouting and developmental departments. Morrison, a 22nd round pick. This guy, a compensation pick.
Everything he's doing right now is trying not to strike out. He's just trying to serve the ball to the left side somewhere. Alex Gonzalez is already a step or two to his right. Chipper's still about straight away.
Up the first base line. And it's a swinging bunt for Coughlin. His second hit of the game.
Well, it's going to look like a nice 2 for 4 in the box score tomorrow. He did put down a good bunt for a base hit down the third base line, but he couldn't have rolled that one out there any better.
So Coughlin has 2 hits that travel a grand total of about 40 feet. And with 1 out, Marlins have 2 men on. And Freddie Gonzalez goes to get Eric O'Flaherty in a 5-0 game. Atlanta comes your way tomorrow night. It's a doozy. Tim Hudson for the Braves. Josh Johnson will pitch for the Florida Marlins. Joe and Tom Glavine will have the play-by-play tomorrow night. Peachtree TV here in the Atlanta area. Outside of the metro Atlanta area, you'll see it on Fox Sports South.
Be hard-pressed to find a better pitching matchup than that one tomorrow. Josh Johnson, 2.92 ERA against the NL East since 09. Unbelievable ERA at 2.30 last year.
Another AT&T call to the bullpen will feature Peter Moylan against Omar Infante. 2 on, 1 out. Braves up 5-0.
Omar has seen him from the other side, watching him pitch to right-handers. He knows what to expect. He knows Peter's going to drop down on him.
Stanton and Sanchez are lurking.
One of the things that endeared Omar to Braves fans was his ability to hit in the clutch. Since 2007, his average with runners in scoring position is the best in Major League Baseball, at just a point below 350. And those are some pretty good names he's in there with.
Deep short. Alex, second for 1.
Whoa, baby.
What a play and what a night at short for Alex Gonzalez tonight.
I didn't think he had to play anywhere. And you got a fast runner in Uggla. Imagine how hard that is to throw that accurately from this position when you're basically facing toward the left field line and have to twist your upper body around to get it to second base. Great play.
Let's not forget, he's a former Marlin, too. Showing his old organization he can still pick it at short. Another outstanding play for a big second out. Here's Ramirez. Hanley is 0 for 3 in the game.
Did some damage against the Braves last year, but not so much against Peter Moylan in his career. I love that pitch. I love that pitch when they're looking, especially right-handers, are kind of looking for the high leg kick, and Peter uses a slide step and kind of ambushes him. Quick pitches him almost with the fastball.
That and the changeup.
Here comes Dave, the change right here.
And it's hit into straightaway center, but McLouth measures it up. More good work out of the Braves bullpen in the 8th inning. The defense has been awesome as well. It's 5-0 Atlanta.
Toyota plays of the game. Just enjoy a little good defense here, folks. Uggla, Hansen fielding his position. Alex Gonzalez, nice help there on that play from Freddie Freeman. Great running catch there by Nate McLeod. But this round the horn double play again. A good turn by Uggla, and then this past inning, what a tremendous play by Alex Gonzalez to Rob Infante with base hit.
Good night all around for the Braves. 5-0 in the 8th. Time for our Sherwin-Williams pitching change. It's the first and the last of the Mohicans.
I tell you what, this guy can bring it.
Pretty much, Dave. Here's Uggla, ball 1.
Laser Baker wanted to know if Chip had been waiting all winter for that one. This guy led all major leaguers with a 12-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
He was part of the Padres bullpen last year that was so very good in National League play.
Yeah, and not only did it lead the league at 12-to-1, it was also the best in Major League history or National League history. Yeah, that was quite a deal. They sent Cameron Maben over there for Mojica and Ryan Webb. He's had a good bullpen, but they've got a couple of them playing for Florida now.
Joining Mojica in the starting 9 is Wes Helms. He'll take over for Dobbs at third base. And back to the mound for out number 1.
The numbers on Mojica last year to give you that 12-to-1, 69 and 2/3 innings. He struck out 72 batters, averaging better than a strikeout per inning. 72 strikeouts to 6 walks. That's pretty good.
You do that and you pitch in Petco Park, you're going to have a lot of fun. Here's Heyward. It's strike 1.
If you weren't with us earlier in the 4th inning, Jason hit his 3rd homer of the year, 433 feet to straightaway center. Came off Volstad. He gave up 2 tonight. The other one to McCann. On how many times Jason got hit by pitches last year. I think it was quite a few, but I'm going to bet it goes higher this year because of the efforts of teams to pitch him inside. 10 times thanks, Chip. There's going to be those accidental plunkings where they're trying to start the fastball in to tie him up, hoping the ball runs back over the plate and then holds its line and gets it.
But as we know, that's a real dangerous way to pitch, Jason. He's so quick inside, he can hit it a mile and pull it. And he's so patient at the plate, too.
He only walked 6 last year, and he's 3-2 to Jason. He's walked 1 in 3 2/3 innings already.
He retires Heyward on a bouncing ball to first. 2 out in the Braves' 8th. Well as this man's played in the field, he deserves a hit. Alex 0 for 3. Every Braves starter, with the exception of Tommy Hansen, had at least 1 hit, except for Alex. continuing what they did to the Marlins last year. Braves beat them 7 of 9 times in this park, beating them 5-0 tonight.
In the dirt, a couple of tappers off the plate, one back to him, one to first. I figure he's throwing a split finger pitch.
And there's the hit.
Well, you helped him out there, Chip. Pulling for him to join the hit parade. Ball looked like a fastball at the knees. Alex hit it sharply.
Yeah, all they have to do is follow the script.
Oh hum.
Oh hum. 5-game hit streak for Freddie Freeman will be in play tomorrow night. Sanchez handcuffed, but makes the play to send this game to the 9th inning. 3 outs to get for a Braves win. It's a 5-0 game.
The win column during the course of the year, our Foxmo camera will bring you a lot of nice, really slow motion plays, some that you saw here tonight. Hope you've enjoyed those, but you're going to see more. Really slowing the game down a little bit. That's a beautiful shot there. Freddie Freeman staying on that ball and placing it to right. Martin pulling this ball down the third baseline for a double. That camera's out above the Braves bullpen. It's Devin running it for us. Thank you, sir. And we can move that around to different spots in the ballpark, too, to give you different angles on it.
So 3 outs to get as Freddie Gonzalez makes what he hopes will be his final AT&T call to the bullpen. Scott Linebrink is on.
It's a good night for Scott to get an inning of work and get himself back on track, too. He's given up 6 hits and a couple of walks in 4 innings. Still getting a strikeout per inning, but not as sharp as he can be.
Two to Mike Stanton. Has 2 of the Marlins' 5 hits. Marlins haven't been shut out yet this year. Man, 94 with some hop.
The Marlins came into this game in this series with a 5-4 record, and that 94 heater right by Stanton. And some of that hitting you're talking about, Chip, came against the Mets staff, then Washington, and then the Astros staff. So they had, I'll call it a light start to their season, and have back-to-back series with Atlanta and Philadelphia to contend with now to really test their hitters.
Tommy Hanson too much for him tonight. Tim Hudson gets the ball in game 2 tomorrow night. Beachy and Ricky Nolasco on Thursday night.
That's a good matchup.
Freddie will give chase over near the Braves dugout, but won't have a play. That kid's due for a win.
Well, we know this for sure. He doesn't have to pitch against the Phillies again this weekend.
Yes.
Or this week.
One out walk. Sanchez aboard with a walk for the second time in the game. Here is Morrison. Everett hearing from the Marlins dugout.
A little late to be complaining at this point, isn't it? I think he's done a really good job tonight back there. I wasn't too crazy about the call on Freddie Freeman, but he made a similar call on a low pitch to Coughlin later in the game.
And that's all you ask as a hitter, isn't it?
I think that's all you ask as any baseball fan or team, is that the guy just be consistent back there. He gives you a nice quick call. He lets you know if it's up, down, in, or out.
Dribbled right side. Freeman bobbles, then has to throw an overhand to Linebrink. And he got it there in time for the second out.
This was fraught with danger. First of all, Linebrink went after the ball, then he realized he wasn't going to get it, and then Freddie got it, and he couldn't get rid of it. Underhand, then he had to go overhand. See, there's a hustle by Linebrink, the hustle right straight to the bag after he realized he couldn't get to the ball, but they got the out anyway.
John Buck, the final hope for Florida. Might have broken his back. Scott is throwing hard tonight.
Nice play.
Low 90s.
Yeah, he's had a good fastball and good slider. Glove work, bobbled. And the dance.
A fan from Marietta made that play. Our way. Now Scott one strike away from shutting down Florida. Caught him looking. And how fitting is that? A 93-mile-an-hour fastball right down Broadway freezes John Buck. And Freddie Gonzalez beats his former team and shuts him out to boot. 5-0. Our final score from Turner Field in Atlanta. We'll recap it for you in a moment.